I feel like we've done this before. I feel like we've done this before. Reboot from Asteroid G. You're listening to Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein. With me, as always, is...
Josh, the jolliest of the reindeer. Schaefer.
And...
Elf on the Shelf, Queen Bee.
Oh, really? Really? Oh. Get out of my podcast. So, as you can probably tell from our introduction right there, we are covering holiday movies. We did actually holiday movies last year, but we are going to do them this year by rebooting a few of our favorites. And I know already Queen Bee has picked one out that she wants to do, but let's go over the rules of this, because before we got into the podcast, we were already trying to decide what counts and what doesn't, and whether or not there are certain holidays. Any winter holiday will count for this reboot. Doesn't have to be any specific religion, although, let's be honest, most of the time it's Christmas movies that are created, because there aren't very many good Jewish Hanukkah movies. Adam Sandler's horrendous 8 Crazy Nights being the one thing I can think of. But yeah, I mean, there are plenty of holiday movies that can be considered holiday movies, I guess. Home Alone, for example, set around Christmas time. Very little that's actually Christmassy about it, though.
Yeah, I would never reboot Home Alone because they tried once and it was still terrible.
Yeah,
so...
they did like 3 sequels to that movie, and they were all the same movie. Like, you put a kid in a house and give him traps to do, and then he's done. That's pretty much it. The closest they got to a reboot was an off-brand slasher flick where a kid traps a bunch of people in the house and uses Home Alone traps on them, slowly murdering them. That was Better Watch Out.
I didn't see that one, but now
we got the reboot we needed. Yeah, I mean that's good enough. But yeah, in that vein, you could take a movie and you can twist it. You could take a Christian Christmas movie and make it into like Jewish or Kwanzaa or something. Give me your best holiday reboots.
Okay, well, as you said, I already have chosen White Christmas. I watch this movie every year, and not because it has a bunch of white people in it. So don't get me wrong. Yeah, there's a lot of white people in it because, Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Vera Ellen, and George Clooney's aunt, whatever her name is. Rosemary Clooney. There we go. Rosemary Clooney. Yeah, George Clooney's aunt.
Just, in the credits, George Clooney's aunt.
But I like bringing color in, and it's called White Christmas because spoiler alert, if you have never seen the movie, it's because they go to Vermont, which is supposed to have snow. There's a titular song by Irving Berlin about snow called Snow. And they get to Vermont where it's supposed to be the winter wonderland, and there's no snow. And so basically it's a movie about actors and actresses who were doing Broadway shows back in the 1940s, and they basically have time off, and they're going to bring their show to this Vermont Wonderland with no snow so they can practice their show. And basically the backup story to this is Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye end up meeting up with their general who owns the inn that they're doing their show at. So they want to try to help this guy who can't get back into the military because he's too old. It's just a feel-good movie. So if I were to redo this, a lot of the people I would have redone this with happen to be the cast from Glee. Unfortunately, cast from Glee keeps dying off, so I'm not entirely sure if that's a wise idea or not.
Sounds like a horror movie now.
Right? But there are some people I would bring in, maybe take some members from Rachel Bloom's cast from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
And utilize people of not only different color but different sizes, and kind of make it a feel-good movie based on the fact that we live in a real world now, and that not everybody is a size 2, and not everybody can tap dance in Florida, and just kind of, there are talented people out there that you could bring in for this. Maybe the woman who sings In The Greatest Showman. She sings one of the titular songs. She's the bearded lady in that movie. She would be a great one. Zendaya, bring her in to do a main character. I think you could even bring in Tom Holland as the Danny Kaye character because, yes, he's white, but he also can tap dance. So I'm all for that. I think bringing in younger people and kind of making it not show people trying to help out a general, but maybe they end up here as a mistake of their booking appointment or something like that. And you still utilize the Irving Berlin songs, maybe tweak them a bit to make them a little bit more his now. And maybe even throw in a couple of Hanukkah songs or solstice songs or that type of genre, because this was actually White Christmas is based off the original movie, which is called Holiday Inn. And it has a lot of songs from holidays throughout the year. You could actually mix it up and probably bring in some Irving Berlin songs that aren't necessarily all about Christmas. So that's what I would do with it if I were to reboot something of this.
I don't know.
Type.
You said they all showed up, but they weren't there because they were in show business. And I'm like, why are they there? Is there a mystery about why they're there? Do they even know? Did they just wake up one day and forget how they even got there? David Lynch's White Christmas.
You could do, you have so many possibilities. You could do this like a Pitch Perfect number 4 and have them do some kind of holiday thing with the Pitch Perfect team.
Didn't we say all we needed to with the first movie? Must we go to a fourth one?
I love the Pitch Perfect movies, so there. I'm sticking my tongue out at you.
Okay, Josh.
I actually have 2. And
Okay.
I don't know which one I
Okay.
would.
Is one of them Die Hard? Because I have a reboot for that one too.
No, it's not. I was thinking about Die Hard, but I feel like that's been overdone. So I try to think of more abstract things. Like my personal favorite Christmas movie is.
Jingle All the Way.
No, that's actually the one I was going to reboot first.
Okay.
Nice, you go.
But It's a Wonderful Life's my favorite, and I couldn't think of a good way to reboot that without it just trouncing on the original. So, and I feel like it's been so overdone in pop culture that it's not even worth remaking.
I was just going to do, for that one, Todd McFarlane's, where the guy, actually dies and relives his life in hell and is Spawn.
Yes.
There you go. That's a feel-good Christmas movie. Anyway, so what do you got for Jingle All the Way?
So, I like Jingle All the Way. I mean, it was made for my specific demographic.
Very thin generation right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it has Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad starring as I don't want to call it an odd couple trope, but it kind of is.
Uh-huh.
I think it could be easily remade with something like, Peter Dinklage and Tom Cruise. So
Tom Cruise would never do it because he's a Scientologist, and I don't think he does Christmas movies. But you could do it with Peter Dinklage and our favorite black actor Idris Elba.
Ooh, I would watch that too. I just want to hear him say it's turbo time on repeat.
With an English accent.
I see what you're doing with them, but I feel like you flip it around. I mean, yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger having Peter Dinklage fill in for him is amusing enough, but I think you put the Sinbad character as Peter Dinklage, and immediately the second you were talking about recasting the movie, I thought Queen Latifah. I do not know why, but Queen Latifah in place of Arnold
She hasn't been in
Schwarzenegger.
anything. I miss seeing her. Now she's just in stupid makeup commercials.
I know, right? Just put her in as the Arnold Schwarzenegger in this movie. I think that would be great. Plus, then you have a mother-son connection from her trying to get the toy for her kid. I think it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
and she can have that necessary sass that Arnold didn't really have.
Yeah.
And
acting talent.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And I believe that there's a theme when you're doing reboots there, Josh. It seems to always be Peter Dinklage and Tom Cruise and Idris Elba.
Our 2 fans demand that I stay consistent.
Okay.
They get shoehorned into everything. But wait for my second one, which is Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Oh, God. Oh, that's so painful. Okay, what do you got for it?
Every Martian is going to be played by Peter Dinklage.
So is that kind of in the Deep Roy Willy Wonka kind of vein?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wait,
but
not
good.
Tom Cruise?
Oh no, Tom Cruise is Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although again,
just-
I like the idea of Idris Elba as Santa Claus for that particular
Oh,
one.
me too.
I
Yeah.
do too.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Since that's our
and-
running gag, we're for season 4 of this show, we're really gonna need new running gags.
Don't worry, I have some actors I'm going to switch it up to. So
Well, yeah, find better actors than Peter Dinklage and Idris Elba, and then you can have a new
I'll
gag.
challenge anybody to find better actors than Idris Elba and Peter Dinklage.
Tom Holland.
Oh yeah, you could put Tom Holland in. I'd accept that.
Yeah, I mean,
Adam Driver's not bad too. I like Adam Driver.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, actually, that's a good one.
Also, as an aside, Adam Driver on Last Week Tonight was fantastic. And
Yes.
if you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you do.
Mhm.
We
Okay.
have.
So, did you have any plot changes you were going to do for Santa Claus versus the Martians, or was it just same
I
story?
tried to watch it again, and I don't
so bad.
know what the plot really was. So
Kids get kidnapped by Martians because they wanted to actually kidnap Santa as well, so that they can something with Mars and have their kids
Yeah.
grow up to be emotionally. It's really dumb. Like, it's really bad.
Yeah, so we're just going to scrap the entire thing, and it's going to become more of a Escape from New York.
Santa
like,
Claus having to fight his way out with musical
Oh, yeah.
numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
A lot
Or
of
is it,
fighting.
does Santa Claus have to fight his way out, or is Snake Plissken going to show up on Mars to save Santa Claus?
You know, why can't Snake Plissken pretend to be Santa Claus so it's actually Escape from Mars? So,
As
they
opposed
make
to
him
Ghost of
wear a Santa
Mars.
suit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Ghost of Mars was terrible.
Alright, so I've got a couple that I want to try and reboot, and I'm interested in your opinions on them. Obviously, the first of them is, since I like horror movies, Black Christmas, of which we've seen 3 different versions. The most recent one tried to do a bit of a cultural update and make the girls fight back against the guys who were actually hunting them and some weird thing. The movies, like, all of them are decent slasher flicks, but they're all very of their time period. Like, the original Black Christmas feels very pre-Halloween. It actually did inspire Halloween, but when you have John Carpenter, who refines the genre so well, anything that came before it, it's going to feel a little dated by comparison, because it doesn't have the tone and the scares and the build-up the way that Halloween did. Meanwhile, was it 2006 one, I think? That one just feels very post-Scream, and it's bad. And then the most recent one from a couple years ago, just from what I understand, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I'm saving it for holidays, so I can do reviews of it for the website. The most recent one, was a decent setup, but fell apart in the back half. So, there is room to improve these movies. And I feel like, as we discussed with Universal Monsters recently, horror is a very specific thing. You have to really develop it and really work, the tone and the style and the substance of the movie. You can't just have a bunch of sorority girls in a house and then have them get offed one by one. Because that's what most slasher flicks do, and most slasher flicks lose the thread. You've got to be creative.
Wait.
What?
Don't most sorority girls get off one by one?
But in a different way.
Thanks, phrasing.
sorry.
And sometimes in a group. We're not judging them for how they live their lives.
Very rarely all happens at the same time. I'm just saying.
But when it does, that's a show. But, the things that you need to do for a good slasher flick, and having watched a ton of them for the last 3 years for the website, you need to limit the number of people that are actually going to be true characters in the movie. All the characters that are going to die need to be developed. So you got to spend the first 15 minutes with these sorority girls, the 5 or 6 that are going to be actually in the movie. You've got to actually spend time developing their characters and not just dropping them into simple tropes of mean girl or popular girl or cute girl. You actually have to give them character development. You don't want to have too many more characters that are actually going to be substantive than those 5 or 6. You can have some cops show up that the guy kills quickly off on the side, but the 5 or 6 that are really going to be substantive characters you need to develop, and you need to limit it to that. Because the more characters you put in, the harder it is to actually develop all of them. And the more characters you put in, the faster the kills come, which means the tension doesn't actually build up. Because once you have the character set, you got to build tension. You've got to amp up for a kill and not always have the kill. You've got to sometimes amp up for a kill and then go to a laugh before going to a kill. You then have to sometimes just go to the laugh without a kill. And occasionally, once you've gotten people off kilter enough that they can't always expect what's going to happen, sometimes you build the tension up and then kill people. Slasher flicks don't tend to do that. So then you can have your final girl who's being stalked by this guy who may or may not have any reason to be in the house. Could be an escaped killer. I think the first one did that. Could be connected to one of the girls, which I think the second one did that. I would avoid the route of having an entire fraternity stalk the girls, because that's, like, a slasher flick is better when you have one single killer that you can fight against and then hopefully survive, so you have some hope at the end for whoever actually is left standing. It's very hard to build a good slasher flick. I'd keep the bones of the idea of sorority girls being stalked by a single killer, but just about everything that the movies have done before this, I would change, because none of them are very good slasher flicks.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
That's the first one.
I don't watch enough slasher movies to care about sorority girls.
I mean, you have to get just enough character development that you do care.
What if we did a Pitch Perfect where they're singing, but they're slowly dying off? How would you like that?
I mean, if we can then end the franchise while we're at the same time, I'm okay with that. There we go. But that's my rant for slashers right there. The other one I was trying to develop was the Santa Claus. But only primarily because I don't like Tim Allen at this point, and I'd rather see anyone else in that role.
Understood.
So Peter Dinklage as one of the primary elf that was originally played by the guy from Numbers and 10 Things.
I can never remember that dude's name. I know who you're talking about,
David Krumholtz.
Yes. Yeah,
there we go. I mean, he's great in the movies, don't get me wrong. His elf is fantastic, but Peter Dinklage. And never, like, yes, he's short, and he had that great scene in Elf where he, like, yelled at the actual elf for, like, saying, "Oh, it's a little person." Yeah, no, that's fine. But, like, maybe don't even comment on that. Have all the other elves be tall, and then just have Peter Dinklage, because he adds such gravitas to it. And then trying to think who you cast as the new Santa.
Idris Elba.
Oh my god, David Krumholtz. I don't know.
No. You could. That would be funny.
That would be hilarious. Yeah. I like the idea that David Krumholtz's elf gets so tired of Santa's shit, he just kills him and then takes the suit so he can do it properly.
I like that idea. I really do.
And then we get rid of Tim Allen in the process, which is so nice.
You can do. I don't know. I think Paul Rudd would be great in that type of role.
Oh God, yeah, Paul Rudd Santa Claus
would be good.
Yeah. And then you have the wit and charm with that little twinkle in his eye. Oh, Paul.
Yeah. I'd watch it.
I would. That'd be good.
I'm watching it in my mind right now.
I am, and it's so great. We got any others? Any other holiday movies? Any other holidays we want to cover? Because, I mean...
They don't really have a good Kwanzaa film. They don't really have a good... I mean, they have a handful of Hanukkah-type films, but... Other than
terrible.
8 Crazy Nights, which is terrible.
Okay.
None of them are really good. I mean, you could go to Lifetime. You know, my favorite, I wouldn't reboot it yet because it's just new. It's that new, but it has Kurt Russell. He does the Santa Chronicles now with his wife. Yes. I can't remember anybody's name. Goldie Hawn. And they're doing a second one this year on Netflix, and I actually thought last year's was pretty decent. So I'm looking forward to that because I like Kurt Russell. He's in my genre of film people. So
okay,
I like that. But rebooting, you know.
Yeah, I don't feel as a white person I am qualified to reboot to make a Kwanzaa film. I'm just putting that out there.
I want that to be a Spike Lee joint.
I know, right, exactly. That said,
Snoop Dogg.
I think you could easily take a movie that already exists and swap out one holiday for another from Christmas to Kwanzaa, and it would qualify, and that would be The Wiz.
You're not wrong.
I'm not saying it's a good movie, but technically it's a Christmas movie because the opening sequence when Dorothy loses her dog That's Christmas.
That's true.
Yep.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
Well, it's because most of us have forgotten about The Wiz.
it's not that bad.
I like The Wiz.
But you also hate musicals, Mike. So
Yeah. Yeah, anything that's a musical you're going to hate. Like you probably didn't like Scrooge very much, or
Scrooge
the
isn't
actual
much of a musical.
Broadway Scrooge, or yeah, pretty much any Christmas movie that was written in the 1940s to 50s. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I don't like most of those, but really, once you get past before a certain year, there's not a lot of movies I like from them anyway. Like once you get before 1980, I start to tune out, and that's mostly because the 1970s films are so slow.
yes,
They are, and then
Like,
before that, I
love-
just don't care.
yeah, I love Planet of the Apes, but like I could edit out like an hour of that movie.
There's a good half an hour from Planet of the Apes, the first one you could edit out. There's a good hour and 15 minutes, the second one with the nuclear missile in the underground layer. That one's really like half of a decent TV episode right there. Yeah, most of them are kind of slow, and I love the Planet of the Apes movie.
It's just
Is Planet of the Apes considered a Christmas movie?
It could be.
no, just
Why not?
Yeah,
It's
because it's
Founders. Founders Day, where they celebrate in winter while they're all trapped in their like ape houses. They celebrate the founding of ape culture with gifts and lights, and they sing songs. There you go.
Okay, sure. I'll get
How the
that.
Grinch converted to Judaism.
to be fair, the Grinch didn't hate Christmas; he hated the people.
That's true.
Yes, which is true, and I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, since I don't think we have any more holiday movies in us,
What is everybody's favorite Christmas movie?
I think down the road we would all say Die Hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Die Hard. Anna and the Apocalypse was not terrible. I liked it.
I like Go from David Lyman.
Is that a Christmas movie?
David Dennis Davis. I like Go from Lyman, the director Lyman, who did like Edge of Tomorrow and so forth later. It is technically a Christmas movie. Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's also about kids going to clubs and doing drugs. It's a great Christmas movie, let me tell you. I really, the thing I fall back on when I watch holiday stuff is the Tick Christmas episode. I like that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I usually watch Die Hard, and I watch some of the Bob's Burgers Christmas episodes.
Yeah.
And Elf. I like Elf.
Elf
too.
is okay. Elf is good. Elf doesn't need a reboot though because Elf is so new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
No.
I think I must be the only person on the planet who does not like Elf.
Yeah, you're not correct on that one. I'm sorry.
Will Ferrell rubs me the wrong way, man.
He generally rubs me the wrong way too, and I hate most of his movies, but I like Elf.
Okay.
He rubs me the right way.
I'm sure
Josh.
he does, Josh.
Tell us more about that in the outtakes.
Well, I also really like Trading Places too. I'm trying to think of movies that are kind of Christmas movies but aren't.
Yeah, they're just vaguely connected.
Yeah.
Trading Places is set between Christmas and New Year's, so officially it is a Christmas movie.
It's a holiday film. Holiday. Yeah. And there are a
Yeah.
number of those that just are tangentially related. Again, The Wiz. Just tangentially related. They take place around the time. And I think if you went and did a list, you'd find like hundreds of movies that are just vaguely set around the time. So
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you have like Love Actually. That's kind of a Christmas movie, but not. I hate that movie too.
Last Christmas with Amelia Clark.
Yeah.
And that wasn't too bad. It was kind of cliche, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. You have.
Is that the one where she like falls in love with a ghost or something and then realizes that they're all dying or some shit?
Sorry, spoiler alert. Yes, that's exactly what happens.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Were you gonna watch it?
No.
There you go.
You should. It's cute.
Neither
All right.
was anyone else.
I already watched it.
I know.
So.
I know.
Yeah, but Love Actually and what's that holiday film with Cameron Diaz? I don't usually like Cameron Diaz in anything either, but actually that movie was pretty decent.
The holiday movie you're thinking of is called The Holiday, yeah.
The Holiday. Okay.
Yeah.
That was okay.
It was okay. Again, vaguely related. Like anything set during wintertime can be vaguely related.
So
slap some Judaism in there. You put some candles in the background. It'll be fun. It works. It works great.
That's what we do for Christmas.
Yep.
Me too.
Setting up your Festivus
Christmas,
pool.
but
You know, I know it's a Seinfeld joke, but there need to be more Festivus movies.
I agree.
they do.
Yes.
They do.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't know of what story you do for it, but yeah, Festivus movies.
Somebody was saying, "What should we do for Yule?" I said, "We have an entire golf course. We could just light a tree on fire and roll it down."
I mean, if you're doing Yule, you just watch Yul Brynner movies.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I've been doing Yule wrong this entire
It's a
time.
Yuletide. All the Yul Brynner movies.
There's only one I'm aware of. What are the other ones?
Oh, there's The King and I, and there's Westworld, and there's Future World. That's 3.
Wow. Okay, that is a whole day.
That's,
Okay.
I mean, if you watch Future World, it is going to feel like a whole day. Oh,
You forgot the 10 Commandments. That's like a big one too, man.
I haven't ever watched that movie.
Buddy's in it.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I
Or
feel like if
Pharaoh.
you start watching like the 10 Commandments though on Christmas, you're celebrating the wrong holiday right there.
Passover, Christmas, it's all the same.
Wow. On
It's
that
a
note,
holiday.
yeah. On that note, this has been Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein.
Josh, it's all the same in the Dark Schaefer.
And Conthagore the Christmas Dragon, Queen Bee.
And we will see you next time.